Welcome back. We are going to do, or going to step into the Shadow Kingdom for today. I did the Old Tower video. That was the first part from that entire scene or group of people. The second part is going to be I guess, Blood Tyrant is going to be the title because that is still in my head the big band. Although we'll see. Same structure as last. Want list merge. I'm going to do all formats mixed up because I'm going to do band by band, I guess. It took me a while just because in my humble collection there are a few items of Demstervold and Vaal in this case, or Spectre. So we'll see where we get. It's a bit maniacal, so the humble part can be dropped. What we are listening to, we are going to do a Black Abyss soundtrack for today. The first thing is Skyggeraich with Land of Always Winter, and this is number 30. His Demstervold's second label, I guess, House. I digged in a bit deeper because last time I mixed up another Dutch label that had actually nothing to do with them, called Zeitgeist, from a guy that did Orgy of Carry-On tapes very early on, but it was at the same time, so timeline wise it's around that time. We are starting in, I think, Shadow Kingdom 2015 was erected, and then in 2016 the first tapes would be coming out. That the first batch is the one that I'm missing, but yeah, we'll dive into it. Skyggeraich, like I said, this is from a guy called, I don't think it's one of them, In the Land of Always Winter by Skyggeraich, which I looked back into it, and of course it's not the guy who also does Geheimnisvoll, but yeah, this is a ambient dungeon synth. That was the last video. Yeah, so there were a few mistakes in the Old Tower video, mainly the fact that I mixed up labels. House was Demstervold's label. That became then Black Abyss, I guess, because there was another person involved. And then the other label was Crude Form, which will sadly not show up because those are the want list items. Like I said, all these are basically 2016. That's when there goes the shirt. That's for the next update. Let's say they started 2015, maybe they met each other in the Dutch underground, as the lore goes, and then they started working together really fast, actually. So the ones that are missing, and this was already, I think, on Shadow Kingdom, so the House and Crude Form blended together was then Shadow Kingdom, which was more than a label like Watch and Pit is, for example. Blood Tyrant Night of the Blood Moon, there is a Shadow Kingdom release tape, limited to 66, I think. Yes, and then there's the promo version of that tape. I have the Tour de Garde, which I will show, but it has more of a purple gold artwork, and the other one is just black and white, is Tour de Garde. I sandwiched the Tour de Garde video in between because I thought it was a good 1, 2, 3. Once again, it will show up a lot. Let the Tour de Garde be the drinking hint. So yeah, Blood Tyrant. Those two actually won. I just want the regular tape, but it's expensive and unfindable. Vaal, Verborgen in de Stilte. It's the only Vaal tape I'm missing, I guess. It's the first one on House in 2016. Then Ultima Thule, another band that is creeping in. You will have a lot of Into the Cracks of the Shadow Kingdom bands. They have the Enthralling Lunar Majesty, the Tirgûl version, just to make it complete for all the bands. I have all the versions, but that one has the picture of them, a different one, and I think the best one, although the LP is also very good. Then the Staag Schimmenklanken, also on House from 2016. Staag is a band that I have 2 tapes of, and that maybe has the least output of all the bigger bands by Shadow Kingdom, but yeah, that is, in a nutshell, what I'm looking for. If you are holding and want to trade, want to sell, hit me up. What are we going to do? The merch first. We're starting in the back and then to the front. This is one of the 2 fur shirts, and this is for Doldenmans Woud. Is that the full Dungeons? to look at my notes. For one, the project I think solely by Spectre, the last and basically most active one to date. They have a bunch of releases that will show up. But yeah, all the others are like Tirgûl, which would be a damn shame, is put on hold. But yeah, Blood Tyrant was also done, so we'll see. Vaal shirt, which is one of the better shirts ever. Vagevuur, yes. Vaal has beautiful artwork. They all have, but Vaal. Classic artwork. Primitieve zwartkunst, primitive black arts. Vaal in the snow. Cool shirt. And then the two I sadly bought in a medium, so if you have larges, please. There's not too much Blood Tyrant merch out there. This is Aristocracy of Twilight that was probably through Iron Bonat when the record came out. Although I could be mistaken and got it from Spectre. Here is one of the weapon shields. There is the Old Tower Dungeon Synth shield, and then there's this one. This is actually a very nice. I don't wear them too often because, you know, they're just mediums actually. But yeah, they're too nice to have fucked up. And then there's this one. There you go. The Dark Decree. I don't know where I got this one. Maybe Orodron. I don't know. And then them two. Echoing cruelty of cosmic order envisioned in their minds a new dawn. Their artwork or their pictures are always incredible. I'll talk about it more when we get into the Blood Tyrant records. But yeah, that's it. That was the want list and the the merch. There's not that much merch. I think there's a Haat shirt, of course, for Demstervold, but the main bands, I think that's it for Blood Tyrant. No long sleeves. Sad, but yeah, we'll survive. I'll see you in part 2 for the EPs or something. We'll have a little bit more and then we'll dive into the big bulk. Hey, back from the merch and the want list. I'm going to do some of the paperworks they did. They have 2 zines out. I'm probably forgetting something. And then go into the 7 inches and then fur and then into that. So the precursor will be fur. It just worked out like that. There are 2 newspapers that got sent out for now. I think 2. I don't know if I missed 1 or 2. But yeah, one came with the Plague Harvest tape, so it was lost for a while. I'm not sure which one. This is June 2022. It has an Erscheinung interview. These are not big. This is a shirt that was missing. This called. These are not big zines. These are more very nicely made brochures, maybe. Yeah, with some more artwork, some more poetry, I guess. There you go. Just nice takes. And then the second one. It comes with a promo for Demstervold, one of the most black metal things I heard in a while. There you go. Then, Nederlandic Underground Force. I already showed this a bunch of times. This is January 22, so yeah. Maybe there's one more, I'm not sure. With Noordvalke. And then this is the Demstervold tape, promo, and shirt, which you just saw. Fur picture, the moon, that's one of my favorites. So stark and nothing to see. And then there is a label for Underground Filth returns the Shunned House, which was talking about 3 tapes. Shadow, overtaken by negative force, black mold completely eaten away, and Retumri, the neurocosmic quest. I'm sorry, but yeah. I asked about it, and it seems that was the plan, but there is no execution for now. Yeah, 2 zines. That leads us to the Katoi Productions newsletter, which is, I'm going to do some side stuff that are in the vicinity of the band, especially since they are all on the Conspiracy in Blood and Wisdom, the Hayden's Haat, not label sampler, but yeah, it's a record with all Dutch artists that composed or made a song especially for that thing. I've checked it out digital, but haven't checked that out. What is going to play in the after this is the Erscheinung Skyggeraich 2 tape. The first one came out on New Era, I think, and this is on Katoy Productions. It is the, I guess, more limited one with a bunch of stuff, but it will show up later, or I'll show it in the video. That came in, and then we are into the 7 inches and the tapes with Fur. The first one, and I'll talk about Demstervold. Fur is basically, I think, his most personal to date. It maybe feels that way because it's the newest one. It's one of the last things he is doing or did. Fur is, as far as I know, Spectre only or Vaal only. And this is Demstervold. I'm not sure if this is the first tape. I'm blanking a bit on the lineup, but there you go. Yes. It is the recipe that is always here on these things, but it allows more musicality in there in the sense that there are very clear productions. Very clear productions. It's not Toto, but you know what I'm saying. Synths have almost a horn-like vibe in the beginning, especially on the track Machtelaars Kloof. It's very sporadically that they come in, and then Demstervold, the first minute is that is the fourth track that is just almost straight mayhem with the yell and everything. So yeah, very cool tape. Did I write anything down? Yeah. It has that death yell, and then the guitar floats over the underlaying noise. So there's a very clear guitar that just dances on top of the noise. Recorded at the Damkelder in Arnhem. Demstervold did photography, so he shows up. Then the second one is the Hellekerker. There you go. This took me by surprise, I guess, because the Demstervold, well, yes, was such a black metal affair, and this came as an entire dungeon and ambient, whatever you want, tape. So there's not a note of black metal as far as I can see. There is a text, but it's a very small explorations into the darkness of unremembrance and emptiness of depth. That will be a team that runs through these things like tape with a pasted on logo. There's the cover. These were through the Skyggeraich Shadow Kingdom. Yeah, like I said, a ambient piece. This is number 4. I'm not sure how many these were put out. And then the last tape, and this is actually the last one that came out, Vervloekt, which has 3 tracks. The 3 last ones so far. But yeah, I'm excited to see what will come next. Maybe a full. If you put all these tracks together and mix them up in a playlist, you probably have a nice full. I think that was the point. If you see here's the first link with Orgy of Carrion, maybe. There you go. Red and black. This is a pro-printed, more than usual tape. And then I showed this, or no, it's another very nice picture of him. Yeah, 3. This is then more, or not more. This is just a black metal affair with synths. Of course, they always crop up. But yeah, Fur is a very interesting project and didn't disappoint on 3 tapes, basically very short tapes, but nonetheless. There is a 7-inch. This one, Knoken and Bloed, that came in between the first and the second, or the first and the third. Who knows? 2 tracks of cold black metal continuation where the previous demo Demstervold left off. Enter the Forest of Necromancy. There's this kind of strip. Very nice. Also self-released, 106 copies. This is 72 inside. That's a bit much to ask. But there is a Fur poster, mini poster. What else? What else? The 7-inch is just black, but it has that nice stamp. And then is a lyric sheet with, this was the artwork for the shirt. Let's see, this a lyric, black metal it says, knoken and bloed, so yeah. Dutch, most of the lyrics are in Dutch. The only thing that I'm positive of is not in Dutch is Blood Tyrant and Tirgûl, but we'll get there, we'll get there. This is the last one I want to show by, I think this is the second to last release he did, or they did, because this is Fur with Sintel and Erscheinung that keeps popping up. That's why it was a no-brainer for me to show the new tape that came in. I think there are still regulars available, but yeah, I'll link it. The Erscheinung track is Katuilen, I think. I speak Dutch and I don't know what shit means. Sintel is like a spark of fire that escapes the fire. There you go. A owl, a fire in the forest. So. Limited 2, I have no idea. It's maybe somewhere here. There's a lot that can fall. There is the insides. Let's see. There is a Vervloekt. There you go. For the last tape, the tree tracker that I just shown. This is the Cobalt signature, and then Fur once again. The releases are always on point, even when they are released by bigger labels. It's very stark and sparse, but good. And Shining and Fur and the Vervloekt tape on Zwartkunst Schmederij. That's another in the Cracks label. And then there's the Cobalt picture. And this guy. How does he call himself? Fur for this. So Fur. Then, last 7-inch, just to round them off. It should be in the last part of the video, but this is the Blood Tyrant Departure Chandelier split on Tour de Garde, which pops up for the first time. This is the, I think I got it from Spectre. This is the limited package, I guess, because it has, I don't know why, but you know, for collectors, it has the extra 7-inch on clear and black, or the black is the extra, but there's a misprint on there. I have no idea what the misprint consists of. Yeah, there you go. They did it that the inside is Departure Chandelier with the Napoleon Dead Mask, and then the outside is the Mighty Blood Tyrant. Departure Chandelier we talked about in Blood Tyrant. I will talk about him a bit more. It is the, I guess, flagship band for the entire, all the labels I just mentioned. This is the clear and black. I thought this was on Tour de Garde, but it seems, looking at it now, that is on Nuclear for now. The other Tour de Garde. No, that's not true. Yeah, Blood Tyrant, Departure Chandelier. Very nicely done. Is there a difference? The center labels are also a bit different. This has a bit snow, this has much snow. I don't know why. But yeah, those were the 7 inches and Fur, and now we'll dive into the massive wealth that is the rest of this video. So yeah, Fur, it is, yeah, it's cool to see how the sound evolves from, you know, the pure black metal of the earlier stuff into the ambient with the second tape, and now it's kind of gels together once again. But like I said, it's more musical. It's not Bergtat all of a sudden, but yeah, it's just more musical. The sound on Vervloekt, the last tape, this one is kept small on purpose. The guitar meanders over some, yeah, over the other music, but it's just, it always stays a bit below majestic. It's like it's reined in all the time, but yeah, it's a different, kind of a different sound than what the all let loose sound of Blood Tyrant, for example, is. But yeah, like I said, we'll see. 3 tapes that are in the vicinity. We have Cobalt and Scheinung. Now we have Kasteider with Reinigend Vuur. This is the second promo. Kasteider is maybe not linked to Spectre, but I think Spectre did some session work for them. It's clear tape. This was the promo for the then to come out record. 2021 met dank aan Herjan en The Spectre. So yeah, he shows up. This is, what's his name? Imperiosus. Sorry, that's a different word. Imperiosus, and then Skyggeraich, where drums is by Wolfram. There you go. Yeah. Dutch young guy that also plays in, and there comes the link, Wyvern, I think it's called, Wyvern, a two-piece by the same, I'll look at the name again a bit later, but Imperiosus, I think, and then Spectre, or both of this, once again, clear tape, nothing on there. This is a Zwartkunst Smederij release. It comes with very small little teas. There's a flyer. There you go. It has upcoming releases Schaduw with Onderwerelden. Finally, the tape decided to show up. Schaduw with Onderwerelden and Duistere Natuur deel 1, an EP, but as far as I know, that never came out. It was also on the Shunt House stuff, so my address. There is the J cards. Let's see the names once again. Spectre and Imperiosus. Yeah, it's on the, not the same cusp as, but it's somewhere between the Skyggeraich and something like formely. It's a bit more synth heavy if I remember correct, but this has been some time since I heard this one. And I've checked a lot, but I did not check this too much. I have 2 tapes by them. Probably play this next so we can hear. And then Wyvern, the Vuurmagier. This was true, I have no idea. There you go. I don't think there's a label on this. And I'm not even sure. I know I got it through someone because it disappeared rather quickly. It has the stamp, so maybe I'm pulling shit out of my ass. But yeah, there you go. Kind of a different vibe. The young King of Witches. But yeah, those are the 2 first ones. The Wyvern, which is, you know, stack up nicely. I think Casteder has the split with Gargantua out right now or something. There's something new, I'm not sure. Then, first time he really pops up, we had the Schattenkerker tape playing from Black Abyss, that was Demstervold. But now we have the first band, I think, with them 2 together. Yeah, Blood Tyrant. There you go. Rot, I'm pretty sure. WROTH. Verwoesting came out, I think, last year. And this is the first time that Illjarn kind of shows up, because Demstervold shows up. Illjarn niet hoog. This is the green tape on New Era that came out. Underrated by me, because I got it and I checked it out then, but there was so much coming out at that time. Black on the inside. Playing is Jeroen and Bram. There you go. I'm not saying it's full Illjarn worship or forced poetry worship, but that's what I remember, kind of. I have to look into it again. And then with pulling up that band, I remembered that I had their 3rd release too on Gavin Zwartfoot label that I always blank on the name. But yeah, black tape with Rot Tree pasted on. There you go. It's a long label name, and it's not on here knowing him. Nope. This is the logo. There you go. He played in a Richard Serra sculpture yesterday, which yeah, that's cool. Then 2 more, and then we are fastly into Demstervold territory. This is Demstervold, then Zwarte Spokerij, and Orodruin with Unburying an Ancient Evil. I'll let you choose which one first. Okay. This one. Actually, this one. No, actually this one. This is the, I'm not sure what first, second. This is the full length by Demstervold. It has a few tracks on here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, written and recorded, 2017 summer. This is on Black Abyss. I think I called it Dark Abyss last time. Here it is Demstervold, who is the main guy, and Spectre helping him out, the vampiric Spectre even, haunting conjurations and ritual murder and hate. Demstervold evolved from the first two demos, which will show up in a... I'll get them out a bit later. He evolved from... Yeah, I think it was at a period in his life, because when you read the articles around that time, that he was fed up with black metal and was, well, not fed up with black metal, with new black metal, and was listening to more of his other influences, Decadent Dance, some God stuff. Yeah, that part of the world maybe, because when you listen to the first and second demo by Orodruin, you can hear that it is very influenced by that. It's black metal, but in the realm that, you know, it is as much God as it is black metal. God, I'm saying in the best way possible, I hope. But then Demstervold is more of the what he's doing with Haat and that mixed together, and then you have the ever-presence of Illjarn and Nidhogg that loom over it. But yeah, this was the first, I think, released by Demstervold, or the first full length. This is Orodruin, same story. A full Der Zwarte Spokerij. The God influences really go away, because I think if we look at the year, also 2017 in the winter, at the Shunt House studio, the session drums were then, I don't know, a bit earlier maybe, but yeah, it's the return of the full black metal sounds. It's a difficult J card, but there you go. That is the tape version of this. Now, I talked about trading in the last video, I think, Tirgûl, where I said I would trade the tape, but it's kind of hard to trade tapes. But if you want to have the Canadian tape that I'm blanking on right now, the one I showed the promo for, this is the want list I'm looking for, the star and stuff like that. So if you have that one, I'm willing to let some of the good stuff go. But yeah, back to the main program. This was Demstervold, which will show up once more. But yeah, it's harsh. It's not as harsh as Haat, but it has less classic black metal and more, I'm saying that very carefully, more, not punk stomp like Illjarn, but rougher and harsher, like will show up in a medieval way in Blood Tyrant. So yeah, those are the two. Then the two last ones, and this is once again a project, I don't think with Imperiosus, hard name. I think it was a different one. It's K. I think he is the one from Mixing Up Stuff. Doesn't matter. This is the one of the projects that Spectre is doing with K. I think he wasn't castrated, but I could be wrong. Yeah, it is becoming too much, die sightings. Een bloed onder volle maan verzet van de Valwas en Hellevorst. Opgenomen in de Diabolische Zomer. Ravenzang is K en B, so yeah. Session bass by J. Bataafs zwart metaal. Limited to 100 on Black Abyss. There is a flyer for it, I guess. Or what is this? Yep. There you go. Yeah. Bataafs black metal. Then there is one more by them. This was the Shadow Kingdom release. There you go. I'm not sure what year is on this one. I wasn't mistaken, it is the same guy, he just went under K on the first one. There is no year on here, so Ravenzang. I don't think they, yeah, they have one more. Sorry, I was going to say I don't think they did more, but it is my bridge into the big part. So yeah, Ravenzang coming up. Okay, so one more Ravenzang, a record that came out on this, that their first full length, Uit een duister verleden, from a dark past. This came out through New Era, and once again a project that I have not listened to as much as the rest. Vaal on drums and vocals, and Imperiosus on strings. Full length, yes. September, October 2018. Keyboard intro on Bloed onder Volmaan by Herjan, a very dark and Dutch project that came out of the soil. Just black, nothing too fancy on this one. It is a New Era release, they don't do fancy, I guess. So yeah, that was the first one. Kind of a bridge to get it in. Kind of a bitch to get in. Kind of a bridge to the Demstervold, or the more his side of the video. There's so much. We'll blast through a few and then go into a bit more. The first thing I wanted to show is I'm 50% sure that this is it's not Demstervold, but that he has a hand in it somehow, because there's a different guy online. If you look it up who this is, it's Orodruin. But OT from Old Tower, also from Tirgûl, also gets mentioned. So you can, as you can see by the artwork and the lettering, it's full Norwegian anti-metal, where dark spirits dwell. Orodruin instrumentation, Orodron vocals, animosity, eclipse created by modern Demstervold. No amplification used in this recording. This is on purity through fire and neue aesthetic. Picked this up at the show in Bruges. Yeah, this is a very weird record in the sense that that no amplification. I don't know, man. It sounds pretty hard and harsh, so yeah. I don't know why they made such a big deal. Maybe it's a straight Illjarn lift from somewhere. It sounds like something like that. But yeah. It is a bit more than just straight Illjarn worship. Yeah. The End of Tides. I mean, look at the. Could also be a Biket Maximum. So this is one that I picked up at a record fair, I think, together with a bunch of Illjarn stuff actually. Perverted Taste, 2003. There is no insert or anything. No. This is an older one, yeah. I don't think this ever got repressed. If it is, I don't know about it. Yeah. Once you have this one, there's no need to go back. Like I said, it is kind of difficult to get who is in here. All Music 2000-2002 by M, so that could be more than, I don't know. Lyrics 96 to 2002 by S, and Accept Lyric 4 by SK. Yep. Recorded in the Forest of Darkness and Death. So yeah, a still mysterious project to me. I don't feel the need to delve in and to have it all clarified as I do usually. So sometimes a bit of mystery can't hurt, especially in this weird AI world. Then Orodruin, Unburying an Ancient Evil. I got the tape out. Like I said, 2 demos that are coming up are more God influenced. You can, on the second one, you can already hear it creep out a bit. Yeah, I think maybe it was under the influence that he met Spectre and was beginning to write pure black metal again. Yirch on Invocations and Necromancy, and the Spectre on Session Battery. So yeah, like I said, Spectre is the helper, or the helping hand in this one. Nothing too fancy, and it's just a one-sided one. So yeah, I have the tape. Can I trade it? I don't think so. Not yet. Unless it's for other fun stuff. Yeah, Orodron, Unburying Ancient Evil. I think the first full length, could be mistaken. Then the first 2 demos. I looked for the tapes a bit. I'm here and there picking up some stuff. I found, is it this one? No. I found the, it is here somewhere. This one, since we are in Holland, the Botulistum with the promo. It is called something Brandend Hart or something like it, or Hongerend Vuur maybe. But yeah, Botmo and Nachtraaf. Trommelstomp. Found this on Vinted, a secondhand clothing store online. So yeah, you never know where to hunt next. I didn't get the demo tapes for this one, but Go to Warwick's was kind enough to put them on this glorious LP. I did not get it when it came out because I think in my mind it was holding out for the original tapes. But then in making this video or starting this video, I noticed that was a big hole in the entire collection or the entire story. Because these are important for the development of, I don't know if it is his development or comes out in the total package, because I don't think the God Sound ever shows up again, except for on this one, but it's good to know that they have more influences than just, I mean, with Spectre and his keys, it's more obvious, but more influences than just black metal or classic black metal. These are the two demos put on one thing. The Fire That Welt there, and then the Dark Tower, both from 2001. On Go to Warwick's 107. I didn't get it at first, but yeah, then it showed up on, or it was on Discogs, pretty cheap. There are a lot of these records that go for a lot of there are a lot of records that go for high prices, especially these ones. But there was a guy in Belgium that was selling it for basically cheaper than you could get it from Go to Warwick themselves. So cheers to that guy. I am not sure what the name is, but yeah. Here we have the Tolkien-inspired center labels, and that is where you should go for themes, not only in Orodruin, but in the other stuff too. Yeah, I love the cover. Is there going to be music? There is, I showed the insert, I showed the vinyl. Did I show the close-up? These are the two demos. So these are the full tapes, I guess. Ripped open. And that's Orodruin. That are both, so two EPs or demos and then a full length. That's basically all I have. Then we have Demstervold with the new one that came out last year, I think. I'm pretty sure. I'm not sure. We'll see. Could be 2 years ago already. Kind of has that Skyggeraich artwork once again with the portrait on the side. I think this is Spectre artwork. Yes, Smiles from des Doods on New Era tracklist here. This one came as a surprise at the time that it still was there, that it still had life in it. Original cover art by the Spectre, layout by Morden. Yes. Lyric inserts. There you go. On New Era, the alliance with certain labels is undeniable, and I'll talk about some of them a bit more. These were the shirts, the Vaal shirt, Castelig and Demstervold. What's on the back of Demstervold? Het glorieuze pad naar de verdoemenis. I'll have to look into that one. Yeah. Underrated, I would say, the entire project, but I should have listened to it a bit more. I didn't listen to too much Demstervold for the preparation of this, which is a shame. But I'll rectify it. I've listened to the Zwarte Spokerij a bit, but yeah, that's about it. Then Haat, I've listened to these a bunch, which is also saying something. And this is the last pure Demstervold project that will show up. This came out, I think, around the same time as the last Demstervold, maybe a bit earlier. This is limited to 250, recorded May. I have no idea. 2009, I guess. I should study Roman numerals. A very sparse record is just black and white with hate on it. That should say everything that this project is. I have one more. I have the, I'll show it. I have too much in my hands right now. It is just Blasphemy put to tape. He was around that time, or no, later. This was 2002, so last year was going to play the Veneration of the Dead, and it was one of the things that made me look into going with it. That never happens. The promo with Revenant Marquise that came out too at that time. I think the first time. That was when I was there, so is that possible? Oh no, it was a flyer. And then the first Zwartkunst Smederij newsletter that came around that time. I think there's once again the Schaduw cassette. I don't know if it ever came out. But yeah, Demstervold interview and then a distro list with Camp Satan, Old Tower, Schaduw once again. But it was around the time Weaverman came out, so maybe the scope is off a bit. There is a insert. I don't know if that shows up, but it's a close-up of Demstervold's face. Then the record, guess the color. Black is the night. So yeah, Haat is, as the title dictates, the most hateful I think Demstervold can be. Not just against the world. I think with something like Demstervold or Orodruin, there's maybe a tinge of light somewhere because he made it to the forest and is walking or whatever he likes to do. But with hate, it's like Blood Tyrant. It's pure misanthropy and hate. This is a very early picture from the man. This is also in a Grail grab online, I think. Paniac Records, limited to 250. Paniac is from Belgium, of course. Frederik Driessens from Watu. 212 is mine. Inserts? Nope. And this is, oh, sorry, there's an insert. There you go. Some lyrics, I think, yes. They're, I think I was listening to it last week and then Wednesday, and there was dirt on the needle and it kept skipping, and there was the second part is a knife twisted inside her cunt and womb, she screams in the cold night, and we rejoice pain and suffering. And it took me half an hour until I noticed, coming out of the trance, like I've been listening to half an hour of pure filth. So that's the kind of record you are or should be expecting from Haat. But that wraps up the pure Demstervold material. Yeah, this is going to be a long one. These are the three very, very good, but not the last bands. Not top tier, but they're top tier. The first one is Star, Maanschaduwen and Vorstfantomen. Two very good tapes. It says here black spectral metal, and it's not for nothing that I don't know. It will show up because I put in the card somewhere, but it's not for nothing that Tirgûl did a secondary label with the rocket ship instead of the tower of the Vaal, or the Star full length, or the CD came out on that label together with the Alien Finian type thing or stuff. Black Abyss, the first one, Star Vorstfantomen. It is very long ambient passages that are interrupted almost by handsome black metal. But it's more what does it say? Black spectral metal. It is cosmic influenced, but it's still the spectre harshness thrown over it, but more kind of a bombastic in the deep sound overall for production. Still what I remember, because this has also been a while. Maanschaduwen, definitely on this one. That counts the long passages. I've listened to this one probably the most. This was true, I'm not sure. Yeah, Zwartkunst. There you go. What was the other one? Black Abyss. Yeah, Spectral. As far as Spectral can go, it's one of the first times these more galactic creatures show up for them as more than human. Then we dive into Vaal. The first thing is once again on Black Abyss, and this is Dodeskraft. I think Vaal started out in the same way as all the projects, just their black metal thing, continuation of all the stuff they did before, Spectre and Demstervold. But then as it progresses into their catalog, in my opinion, it was the first attempt at creating a full band, maybe, because there are session musicians, live musicians, because one of the bands, or the only band, I think, except for Old Tower, that ever played live, So this is the demo or the liftoff for that project, which I think became, for the visibility, maybe more important than Blood Tyrant, because Blood Tyrant was always made to be kept in the shadows, musically and, you know, themes or whatever, I guess. But Vaal was always not hyped, but brought forward as, yeah, maybe not the door to the Shadow Kingdom, but, you know, the precursor, or the what was before the deep shit. Not that this is not deep, but I'm going into metaphors too much. But we are in the Shadow Kingdom. So yeah, this is the Unbolt rehearsal. A rehearsal they did in, once again, I think 2019. Is that possible? MMXIX. I don't know. Vaal in Bunche, Zaag, Morden, and Wolfram. So that is a full band. I'm still not sure if in Bunche played the Brugge show. I think Wolfram was there for drums, or coffins, and Zaag maybe. I don't remember Zaag. Yeah, this was maybe the rehearsal for that show, because 2019 actually lines up. And then there's one more rehearsal before we get to the main ticket. This is Onto the Guards. Yes, this is just a rehearsal. De astrale vloek, het zwarte rijk en winters tovenarij. There you go, cool picture. Stamped. So yeah, they remain partners throughout all their stuff. I think the connection is really good between them and Tyrgûl. Drink. So yeah, last thing for Vaal, tape-wise, is this one, and this is Geesten van de Verlorenen, their first full-length. Sound evolved. I think the entire sound around Spectre kind of evolves in the same way, loosely put, than Old Tower evolves. If you see where Blood Tyrant goes from medieval synths to the realm that brings forth death, that has more of the horror ambient stuff that also will be on Codex Cruor. So there's sounds on Codex Cruor that I link to the cover of Old Tower, Old King of Witches, more than what is Old King of Witches. So it all blends together, even in my head. You can only imagine how it blends together for them. Keep showing that stamp. God damn it, dedication. I have to show it one more time. There you go. This is the Geesten der Verlorenen tape, limited to what, 50? This is 21, and I think this is from 2017. I'm not sure, but that was straight when I met them, because how I was wondering how I got into Old Tower. It is strictly because I had a scope on Iron Bonehead. Iron Bonehead at the time did Black Celeste, did Bolzer, and there was one more. The first one I got from Iron Bonehead, I'm blanking on it, but it was around that time and in that scope, sort of lead jump, that stuff. And then all of a sudden there was Blood Tyrant, but yeah, we'll get there when we get there. Vaal did the Geesten der Verlorenen on vinyl too. These are records. Everything from now to everything is, you know, canon for me for the last, what did I say, 2015, so for the last 7 years, maybe 8 years. People say that there is not much difference between the projects here and there. There's a lot of overlay, but that's what I mean, but things just blend in my mind. And those bands like Star, for example, they fill up the cracks. So very stark release for them, because they have some beautiful artwork. This is perfectly the Old Tower show, blade in the middle, castles and stars. Lyrics, there's some poetry. Hail the old ways, hail the dark war. Vaal and Morden, all songs written and recorded in the beginning of 2017. There you go. Morden is always the more angry one. He has blades. Nazgul blades. There is this one, Warlord, Paragon, and Vaal. There you go. That is the show. Heralds of Unlight. This was the first one, January 12th, was cold. But I got helped warm by Skyggeraich booze. Then there's this one, I think New Era did this scene. Darkness Attacks is also on here. Chthonic Nexus, this was the precursor zine to the actual zine, but this is the Vaal, Ravenzang and Pox interview. So I never got to see the real zine actually. There's not much picture-wise in here. Iron Scourge, I don't know what that is. Looks. There we go. Following through. Cool to have. Still have that flyer for the show. I didn't know that. Let's keep it in here because I changed out some stuff, so maybe it will hit the wall. That was the first record by Vaal. Then the second one, and this is, I guess if you can call that their first full, this is their second full. This is Visioenen van het Verborgenland. This is one of the covers I was talking about. They all stack up very nicely. They are, if you put them all three together, they actually tell a very nice story, I guess. Or they don't, I don't know. There you go. At least I have a cover for this video. No, this one. When this came out, this was maybe not my record of the year, but the track of the year definitely was on here. This is the second full. It got the New Era black metal sticker. I think I have two. One drunk night I decided to put them all on the records that I thought were, you know, honest to God. This is one of them. Vaal has a very, not open sound, but a very mature sound due to the fact that it is a band. There's a bass, there is production, there's always production, but that's production. The track Doudesheimen, when that begins, it is such a simple track, but just the synth stomp in that thing just gets me going. So yeah. Session bass guitar by Morden, recorded before time, beyond time. Cover artwork by Alex Kurtagir, worth mentioning. Only thing that is a pity is that that is not silver foil, but it would be too fancy for the lads. The classic Windmill on Fire, New Era. This is the flyer for that one, or for that drop. Can you still say drop? There you go. Very good records. 6 of them, or 5 of them. Then this is the card, I guess, that came with the release promo with one of the pictures on there. There's just inserts. It's always the two same guys. That's why in the beginning I put a few others in there. But yeah, there is always the underlying Dark Throne sounds. There is an undeniable Dark Throne influence on these records, not just Vaal, but also on Blood Tyrant. The production and the intent is very different, but the underlying tone is a lot of this, but also a lot of what I was talking about in the previous ones with Demstervold's God influences. The Doldesheimer, if you hear that synth, it feels God medieval-ish. So yeah, it all blends together. And then the last thing they did had Vagevuur, the EP, I think, that came out. It is massive for an EP artwork-wise. Vagevuur, or what is that called? Blanking. Yeah, I mentioned that they didn't do silver foil on the previous one, and lo and behold, there it is, silver foil all over the place. On the back, there you go. Limited to 500, which is nice. I don't know if this is still available. I have 453. Either they started at the bottom or they are gone. Yeah. An EP that goes further on the trend of the previous one, the Visioenen. Yeah. Still a very good record. Or not still, it's just a very good record. There are 6 tracks on here. Umbra, Oude Gedachte, Leikendal, Wolfsmaan, Vagevuur, and Vergankelijkheid. So there's always those few themes that come creeping back up, especially when you reach Blood Tyrant is always misanthropy, not shouted out, you can just feel it. It's steeped in or drenched in that kind of vibe. What I was talking about with the sound is that they have that Darkthrone influence, but they also have just the entire Norwegian thing as an influence. It is, if you look at what the maybe we're in the third or the fourth wave of black metal, there are a few scenes that can be of influence for what's happening now. I think the Nordic scene definitely with Norway on top, Finland, and then Sweden, in my opinion. But you also have the French stuff from Breck and Toulon, Legion Noire, and the entire Concilium. So yeah, French. I think Portuguese had a very hard influence here and there, and then Poland, I know for sure, has a big influence on maybe the last 2 years. So yeah, those are kind of the scenes around the time that black metal fully developed after that Proto Doom thing. That's how far I am in my brain. And Blood Tyrant definitely is a amalgamation of not everything, but if you look something like Tirgûl, a lot of people say Gehenna and early Dimmu Borgir. And that's true, you can hear, I'll talk more when we are there, but that part of Norway mixed with some of the Polish stuff that was happening, some Graveland influences here and there. Vaal floats in between Star and maybe a Blood Tyrant, but not as rough as Blood Tyrant. This is the test press for Het Vagevuur. Yeah, loved that picture. That was on a promo, but I don't think it was on the original. This one was. There's nothing too much or too special. I've seen Demstervold's copy that the Spectre hits with gold marker, and that is a bit more nice, but at least I didn't pay full price for these test presses, because I normally, like I said in the previous one, I normally don't get test presses, but if it's really worth it, I basically paid a lot of money for an extra picture. But yeah, there you go. New Era has some stuff that I can't resist, like the Tasmanian Devil Carved Cross on Astra, but 70 is nope. There we go. Then I have one more before we dive into the last two. We are well over an hour. Once it's edited, we are at Ultima Thule. And the first thing I have is the split with Forbidden Temple. Excuse me. Forbidden Temple was stuck in my throat. Split on New Era between the Dutch band and the Forbidden Temple. Ultima Thule definitely takes from the Polish scene, as does Forbidden Temple, so it was a match made in heaven that these two found each other. Utterly classic modern split. I know that's contradictory, but you know, a very good split from the last years. 2018, there you go, neatly on the spine by New Era. Very good, very glossy. Yeah, fire breathing. I think that's Spectre. I don't know, looks insane. Maybe it's a digital one, but I don't know. Here are the guys. These are some of the... Blood Tyrant has the best shots, but this is pretty close to it. These are the Belgian Maniacs, also very worthy band in the picture department and the sound department. This came with it. There you go. It has the fire breather again, but in a different format. And then it's just black vinyl. Like I said, very hard Polish influence. I don't know if Russians in here. I should check again, but they are not far apart from each other, I guess. So yeah, if you don't have this one is actually, and it's weirdly that this is still available. I even recommended someone not to sell it because he was throwing out records on Instagram, and I said I would hold on to that one. Then we have Ultima Thule, the full-length Enthralling Lunar Majesty. Unfortunately, the only thing they did is the split, and then this one. This is a tape from Shadow Kingdom. I think this might be the first or the second one I ever got from them. Came with this, or I got this flyer somewhere. This was when they still had the sides. Yeah. Ultima Thule, once again, also that side of the spectrum, the Polish. Then I can't even read that. Remnants of Burning Empire and Trolling Lunar Majesty. Or the pagan forces. There you go. So yeah, you know where we are at with this one. Very, very harsh. Very, not harsh, but very, very hateful. Very hateful. But it still has the Skyggeraich sauce over it. So there's always slaan and salve, if you will. This is the record I also showed in the Final Agony top or appreciation video. I decided to call them appreciation, label appreciation or something like it. This also got, at the same night, the black metal stamp. This is a Final Agony two-piece artwork panel, no sleeve. There's the incredible cool picture. Yes, it has a smooth here. And then there is the vinyl. It comes in a black pocket. It is very stark. They don't give you anything but hate, disgust, misanthropy. So that's the Ultima Thule. Very, yeah, like I said, very hard, very harsh. I'll go with harsh and hateful. And it would be nice to have them back, but yeah, if you believe the internet, and please don't, a lot of these bands are done, and I think for now, because Blood Tyrant did one, so Blood Tyrant and Till are maybe the bands, but I don't know. There is one more, if I can get this fucker in, there's one more that deserves its due and a filling, so that is for the absolute last part of this video. This could be the last part, we'll see. I'm going to put some tapes out. I decided to stop being an asshole and listen to Casteder. I remember now why I didn't play it too much, because this is almost full open volume and I have to put the bass down all the way, because otherwise it's the bass drum, Wolfram's bass drum just kicks out through everything. But yeah, we are listening to Casteder. A romantic feeling black metal, Dutch. What else is romantic? We have reached the last part, and there are two bands I wanted to highlight a bit. One is their last band, and that was the continuation of what would be the first band. I'm talking about Blood Tyrant and Tirgûl. These are the two tapes that came out. One is a promo, one is an EP with 3 tracks on here. Influence comes from Gehenna, First Spells, comes from Dimo Borgir, For Altijd, Stormblast, that kind of stuff. Minimum Dark Throne. I think for this they didn't pull it out. For Blood Tyrant maybe a bit more. But yeah, they, as do the examples I just gave, there's more in there. There is definitely some Polish influence in there. Like we saw on Ultima Thule, but mostly those things. It is a very waltz-like affair on these, and I'll show the promo first. There you go, just a black tape. They have some color in there for once. The Demstervold picture and then Spectre. Yes, Spectre. So it has the sound of what I just described. The second tier is not the right word, but the second layer under the Norwegian bands that kind of have a more romantic feeling. But it's not. It's more for Altit or more the Dimo Borgir than the Gehenna. Gehenna almost has, and I'm going to lose followers and maybe lose my US hub. But if you are into First Spell and you don't like Ghosts, I would find that weird. It is not one-on-one, but the sound and the atmosphere is kind of early Ghost in my opinion. So I prefer the other side of that romantic, symphonic black metal. What I want to say is, It also has those interchanges in vocals. It has the brutal black metal, but it also has these very proclamating, deadpan, inhuman vocals that go over it. Yeah, this is the Victorious Star. Yes, sorry. Like I said, very, very, very good production. Very full sound, very worked out sound. Once again, it's just the two of them, but Skybound by Amethyst, Storm Clouds, Sapphire Tears, and Crossing the Rubicon. Those titles alone, with the colors and how the tapes look, you can feel that they have more in them, that they are pulling from that layer of black metal that I still need to get into. But yeah, there's so much more in Tirgûl that needs to come out, and I surely hope they do a full length. Please. Then, into the last part. We're going to do Blood Tyrants, and then we are done. Let's see. Let's start at the start. Night of the Blood Moon. I was, like I said, Wantless Dictated. I was just too late for this one. First came out in 2016, I think the Tour de Garde maybe was 2017. I don't know how it got on my radar. I think maybe because of Tour de Garde, or I'm not sure. Maybe I got this one when the full length already was out. But yeah, this is the demo from them, and this is if you can give them the Darktron stamp, this is where you should look for it. But like I said, there are influences from all over Europe. I think for this one, you should look to maybe something like Le Légion Noire and very Portugal, the very demented Portugal stuff, because it has a little bit less bass. It has that demented, unhinged feel that, yeah, that you find in those bands. It is very present on Blood Tyrant Night of the Blood Moon, their demo. That was the start. That was the very rough, almost pure foul black metal that they rolled over into the aristocracy of Twilight. This was the Night of the Blood Moon, once again on vinyl. This is the Skill release, I think 2007. Skill 7, not 2007. 2017. And this is actually one of the nicer ones. So we have the back. It has a very medieval feel in the sense, I think more on the second one than on this one. It has those influences that I just said. There's not much more. Ancient vampiric black metal art. So yeah, it has the Portuguese, it has the French influence, but it also was at the time that the raw black metal exploded with Obscuritatum, with something like Orgy of Carrion, and you can feel that they pull from same places but just put it out differently because the vampiric thing exploded at that time. Not that they are, it's more vampiric in sound and in intent than if you know what I mean. Then the first full length. I'll show the tape first. This is Aristocracy of Twilight. You can feel that there's a bit more room for musicality, but it's just a brutal affair once again. This is also on Tour de Garde, and I got this one from Edwards, which I'm still very thankful of. He just sent it my way in a big box out of the kindness of his heart. This is the, I think, only tape version that came out of this. I don't think Shadow Kingdom did one at the time. I think they were a bit disillusioned. It's what I read in an interview somewhere. They were a bit disillusioned by the thing that it was more of a collector's item than people actually listened to it. And I can understand them to a degree, being a collector myself. But yeah, there are people listening. So. I also managed to grab the Night of the Blood Moon CD somewhere, or someone sent it my way, I'm not sure. Limited to 666 on A Fine Day to Die Records. Yep. There you go. Then, to round it all off, we are going to do one more Skyggeraich, one more Iron Bonnet, I think, and one more Tirgûl, just for good measure. This is the vinyl version, and like I said, Iron Bonnet was a catalyst for me to get this, because I think it was Iron Bonnet, Blood Tyrant, Old Tower, and the thing exploded, of course. Yeah, if you read reviews, once again, Darkthrone comes up, and they say it's the kind of music Darkthrone doesn't bother to make anymore, or doesn't dare to make anymore. I immediately fell in love with this cover. Now, if you are on Instagram and you like black metal, your wall is plastered with images like this. But at this time, I'm not sure who was doing this, apart from the ones I just mentioned. But yeah, these images struck me, and their artwork. I mean, look for yourself. It is Illjarn almost inspired. I mean, there's no wheelchair, but it was such a cool aesthetic at that time. It's not an aesthetic. Like, it's hard for me to put into words. To call it an aesthetic would be very shitty. Yeah. The shield with the 3 drops of blood and the swords. This was the blood red. There was blood red and black, I think. Once again, the vampiric theme shows up. And then it was re-released. I know it's on CD. I'm not sure who did that one, but it was re-released on vinyl once more on a dark red or something like it. But yeah, they're full length. I think there's a very good 1-2 punch on here if you want to check it out. It's where the side switch is. Undying Iron Will and Barbaric Vampirism, which is very good material by both bands. That should have been the last thing Blood Tyrant has ever done, but they have 2 more. In 2019, I think, the Realm That Bring Forth Death showed up. Out of the blue, actually. Skyggeraich was reborn around that time, I think, or born around that time, out of the ashes of Shadow Kingdom. And then all of a sudden, don't fall, there was a new Blood Tyrant. It is claimed that this is a demo or demo tracks. It kind of sounds that way. It has a difference in the deep production. This is very brutal, very scratchy in production. It has those huge war tones that go throughout the entire thing. This one too, but it's a bit more in the deep recorded. Maybe it's because just it's mixed and mastered, but it sounds a bit different. Criminally recorded in Dark Contempt, anno 2019, in the Devil's Farm. Yeah. By these 2 guys. Sorry, I've been talking for a while. This is maybe the one I know less. Did I write anything down for it? Yeah, Unhinged and Non-Human, but that's, in my opinion, is more. It skips this a tiny bit because it kind of feels a bit astral-like style, but not. It's basically because of the production, I think. Do I have anything more for Old Tower? I had a paper. Yeah, Iron Bonnet, very important. I did. No, I think that was it. Yeah, it is in theory the simplest band they have because it's so brutal and harsh, but it's also the hardest to get into. Kind of changed a bit on this one. This is Codex Cruor, the one that definitely shouldn't have come out, but this is the full length from last year, I think, on Tirgûl to round it off. Let's see. Yeah, it has ambient horror on here, but I talked about that before. But it's more and good Blood Tyrants. There was one more thing about this one, but the Realm, yeah, it's in production. The synth drowns it out on the previous one. This one. The synth drowns out almost everything, but the vocals are so pissed off, even more than on other releases by Blood Tyrants. But yeah, it's music that is misanthropic. Vaal has a disgust for humanity, for humans in general, and for normality in life. There's one quote on here that I wanted to end on. Blood Tyrant is not for humans. There you go. That's all you need to know. And the tape is done. What more do you want? I think this is a long one. It needs to be edited. I hope I can fix atoms for this one. Otherwise, we'll see what we can do. Next week, we finally have a new collection updates. It's been some time, but yeah, we pulled from the well. Now we can fill the well. Thank you for watching. Give the Old Tower video a bit of love because that's not doing as well as it should be. There's tons more than just Old Tower. There's, you know, a lot. Just like this was a lot, just like I am a lot. We'll see each other probably next week. I'll try to do once a week, blah, 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 blah. I don't find time, or I just don't feel like it. I'll see you when I see you. Thank you.